Hey, what's going on everybody? Seth here from Slacker Media, coming at you with my first ever vinyl pickups video. I've recently got into the vinyl hobby, a few months back. A lot of people have seen me post pictures, requested that I do a vinyl pickup, so that's what we're gonna do. I've got a lot of good stuff to show you, so let's get right into my recent vinyl pickups. Alright, so we're covering all sorts of different genres here. I've got stuff from, all these different bands, all sorts of different types of music. I'm going to start with my most prized possession, though, so far. It's one of my favorite albums of all time. This is the Smashing Pumpkins' Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness. This is like the special deluxe edition. I mean, this is a hefty box set, a lot going on here. This is such an influential album, a lot of publications will list this among the greatest of all time. Definitely one of the best of the 90s. I love the Smashing Pumpkins. And I would say this is definitely their most popular work, but I mean, I've listened to all their stuff, and this is, I think this is their true masterpiece. So much good stuff on this. A lot of their singles that everyone knows came from this album, Tonight, Tonight, 1979, Bullet with Butterfly Wings. I mean, this album is stacked. I love this set. It's kind of tightly packed, so I don't want to pull it all out and show you the booklets and stuff, but amazing set. I got this for a really good price on the Reddit vinyl deals subreddit. You can find a lot of good deals there. I grabbed this on Amazon for a pretty good price. That is Smashing Pumpkins' Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness. Love this record. Okay, next up from the band Circa Survive, this is Juturna from 2005, I do believe. I was 15 years old when this came out. Really influential record for me. A lot of my friends were into this band. We used to watch the Fuse channel after school. You would always see Circa Survive. Anthony Green, amazing vocalist. This is a masterclass album. A lot of good stuff going on here. This is just one of those that I associate with being a teenager and, 14, 15 years old. Love this record. That is Circa Survive, Juturna. All right, well, since we cover a lot of movie-related topics on this channel, I figure we'll go into some movie soundtracks next. This is the very first record that I picked up when I got my whole turntable set up. Trainspotting, oh man, official soundtrack. This is on a nice, gorgeous orange vinyl. We've got Iggy Pop. This is iconic. I mean, Trainspotting has really become one of my favorite films over the past few years. I discovered it, I don't know, probably 5-6 years ago. I watched it for the first time, and I've just fallen in love with it. I wanted to grab this. It's such a high energy soundtrack, and like I said, one of my favorite films. Had to grab this. That's Trainspotting. Let's go along with the Trainspotting theme and follow it along with the sequel that came out last year, 2017. I loved the film. It's my favorite film from last year. I thought it was one of the best sequels, especially after so much time had passed. Had to grab the soundtrack. That is T2 Trainspotting. Man, this, Danny Boyle is so good when it comes to selecting music for his films. He's really in touch with music, and his choices are just fantastic, especially here. This really, so many of these songs work so well. The song Silk by Wolf Alice, really prominent at the end of the film. I love that song. I discovered it through the trailer for this film, and then the way that it was incorporated into the ending. So damn good. Like I said, Danny Boyle just knows what he's doing when it comes to selecting music for these films. So that is T2 Trainspotting, the official motion picture soundtrack. We might as well just knock all the movie-related ones out of the way while we're here. I got this, found this in the used bin at our local Zia Records here in Phoenix, and I was really excited when I saw this. I got a really good deal on this too. That is John Carpenter's Lost Themes. Come on, John Carpenter, the man, responsible for so many great films of the 80s, great horror classics. Even the 70s, Halloween was 78, but The Thing, and John Carpenter is the horror master. I love so many of his works, and I heard about this album. I think he did this with his son, and I think his godson, I believe. John Carpenter, Cody Carpenter, and Daniel Davies. I guess they came up with these for this record. I don't know, these were themes that have never been used before, but there's actually some really good stuff on this. I really enjoy side B. I think it's, Mystery, the first track off the B side, is probably my favorite, but I've listened to this a couple times, and you really get that badass Carpenter synth sound, that you come to know with a lot of his work. So highly recommend this if you're a fan of John Carpenter and his work. It's it's a must-have. It's John Carpenter's Lost Themes. All right, next up here, easily one of my favorite albums of all time, and definitely in my top 3 favorite bands. Everything this band does, I enjoy, and a lot of people will tell you that this is their best album. This is on a lot of, you know, top albums of all time lists, and I do agree. I think this is their masterpiece for sure, and that is Disintegration from The Cure, 1989. Man, this gets a lot of, it's associated with being just a kind of a sad, you know, dark album, and it really is. I mean, so good though. Robert Smith, musical genius, you know, Love Song, Lullaby, Pictures of You, those are all included on this album. Just amazing, amazing. I got into The Cure when I think I was like, you know, 13 or 14, and, you know, since then I'm 28 now. They've been one of my favorite bands for so long. I actually had the chance to see them Madison Square Garden a couple years ago. Honestly, the best concert I've ever been to. Just 3 straight hours of, you know, hits and the stuff you want to hear. But this album is just it's so good. It really deserves all the praise it gets. Like I said, it's featured on a lot of top lists of all time. I know Rolling Stone has it somewhere in their top albums of all time, and just a must listen to. That's The Cure, Disintegration. Okay, next up, this is a newer album from a band that broke up a long time ago, just recently got back together and put this album out. I had to check it out because, I mean, like I said, you know, they've been around for a long time. They were one of my favorites back in the day. That is At the Drive-In. This is their newest album, Inter-Alia. I think that's how you pronounce it. I loved At the Drive-In. I mean, Relationship of Command, one of the best albums of that time, you know, kind of the post-hardcore sort of really electric sound. A lot of their work, though, in Casino Out. I mean, I love a lot of their albums. When I heard they were getting back together, shocked me, to be honest. I always thought At the Drive-In was one of those bands that, you know, they had their time. They didn't get along. You'll probably never hear from them again. Then I found out they were coming back. They put out this album. Had to grab it. I enjoy it. I mean, it sounds like At the Drive-In. I just don't know how effective this is nowadays. You know, I mean, when these guys were playing this type of music when they were in their 20s, it just felt right. Now it almost feels like, I mean, I get what they're trying to do still, and it's solid, but I wouldn't call it my favorite from At the Drive-In by any means. But if you're a fan of the band, it's definitely worth checking this out. It was cool to see them come back. I actually had the chance to see them a few years ago when they first came back. They played in Chicago. Sadly, no Jim Ward. He was not included in the reunion, but you know, they're still solid. They still put on a hell of a show. Still a lot of good energy for guys that age. So At the Drive-In, Inter-Alia, you know, I'd recommend it if you're a fan of the band. Okay, and we'll actually go back to another Cure album to end this vinyl update. I should have done this right after Disintegration, but it doesn't matter. Another album from The Cure that I really enjoy, that is The Head on the Door. A lot of good songs on this one. Actually, you know, in the new It movie that came out last year, the scene when they're cleaning the bathroom after Beverly sees it full of blood, she gets the Losers Club to go back and clean the bathroom. They're playing the song 6 Different Ways from this album. I thought that was freaking awesome to hear The Cure in the new It movie. I enjoy this. Push, I think, is one of The Cure's best songs. Just you know, a great album. There's not many Cure records that I don't enjoy, so I mean, definitely had to grab this. I want to hurry up and complete the Cure collection. I mean, one of my favorites. Gotta grab all their albums. That is The Head on the Door. Alright guys, that does it for my first ever vinyl pickups video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Something new we're bringing to the channel. Like I said, I'm really kind of recently into the vinyl hobby. I know it's kind of a resurgence. A lot of people are really into it. Tell me some records down below you think I should grab or that are must-owns on vinyl. Definitely interested in recommendations. Would love to hear your favorite albums or what you think about any of the ones I showed off in this video. Thank you guys for watching. There will be more in the future. Appreciate it. Have a good one. Peace.